Thank you so much, Ryan. Good morning to the Board of Commissioners and to the citizens of Douglas County. Welcome to our Tuesday, February 1st, 2022 virtual Legislative Commission meeting. We will call this meeting to order, Board of Commissioners, and I'll start with roll call first. District 1 Commissioner Henry Mitchell III.
Present.
District 2 and Vice Chairman Kelly Robinson.
Present.
District 3 Commissioner Tarina Carthen. Apologize.
Present.
And District 4 Commissioner Ann Jones-Guider.
Present.
And Ramona Jackson-Jones, Chairman, present. Board of Commissioners, we do have a quorum this morning. Board of Commissioners, we do have the pleasure with us this morning, Mr. Alan Clayton from our Sheriff's Office, to render invocation. And after the invocation, certainly I ask that everyone join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Mr. Clayton, you have the floor, and thank you for blessing our county this morning and praying over Douglas County.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. The honor is all mine. Let us pray this morning. Father, we thank you for the opportunity we have to be able to call on your name. Lord, thank you for the privilege of prayer. And thank you, Lord, for this beautiful day that you've given us. It is a day that you've made, and we will rejoice and be glad in it. Lord, I pray that you would be with all those that, Lord, some are going through some very difficult times. Lord, as you know, it doesn't take you by surprise. But Lord, I pray that you'd be with all those that are maybe sick, may have gone through the situation with COVID, could possibly still be going through it. Lord, we pray that your healing hand would be upon each one. Lord, I thank you for everyone that's involved in the meeting today. Lord, you know exactly what is needed. I pray that you'd be with our county. Lord, I thank you for our officials. And Lord, as they make decisions that might forever impact us as a community and as a county, Lord, I pray that you would just be with each one. Lord, I pray that you'd, again, be with us today, keep us all safe. Lord, I pray that you'd keep us all healthy. Again, thank you for our county. Thank you for the opportunity we have to live here. Lord, I pray that you'd be with all of our citizens. And Lord, we'll praise you and we'll thank you for all this accomplished. We ask it all in Jesus' name. Amen.
Thank you so much, Mr. Clayton. I appreciate you rendering prayer, and the Board of Commissioners as well this morning. You are so correct. This is the day that the Lord has made. And we're just humbled that you're here this morning to grace this county with prayer. And thank you for just petitioning before the Lord to make sure that this Board of Commissioners make good decisions for the future of our citizens here in Douglas County. So thank you again. Board of Commissioners, please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Board of Commissioners and the citizens of Douglas County. All right, Clerk, this morning, do we have anyone sign up for public comment?
Good morning, Chairman. Yes, we did. Miss Gwendolyn Parker signed in to speak this morning regarding the proclamation that's on the agenda. So, Miss Parker, you can unmute yourself once you begin speaking. If you will just restate your name and your topic, and you will have 3 minutes to address the board. Once your 3 minutes is up, I will then let you know that you need to wrap up your comment. So, Miss.
Well, now I don't have it.
I'm sorry, we got some interference. Okay. So anyway, Miss Parker, if you are ready, you can begin.
Good morning. My name is Gwendolyn Parker. I live at 4380 Split Creek Drive, Douglasville, Georgia, 30135 in Commissioner Kelly Robinson's district. I am the education chair for the Committee to Honor Frederick Douglass. American history was my favorite subject in school. That and English literature shaped my love of reading and my understanding of the need to express what you think, hear, and see. History informs us, identifies us as a people and as a nation. The more we understand and embrace the truths of our past, the better able we are to make wiser decisions and choices in the future. Based on the remarkable research uncovered by author and researcher Tracy Ruckert Shaw, Douglas County has been blessed with new information about this county's historic formation. Our country, our county's history became richer than we ever knew it to be. Not only the connection to Frederick Douglass, but also the names and the sacrifices of the 33 legislators that fought so valiantly for its inception, and the governor who signed it into law. Our children have a proud and worthy history that can build self-esteem and pride in their county by learning about the original namesake of the county and the companion history of its formation. Douglas County continues to grow in amazing and wonderful ways that will keep generations in the future, making this the place they were raised, a place where they raised their families as well. It is for this reason I wholeheartedly support the proclamation to honor a great American, Frederick Douglass. Thank you for your time and your consideration.
Thank you so much, Ms. Parker, for bringing the history to Douglas County this morning. I, too, love American literature as well, so thank you this morning for being here with us. Clerk, we have anyone else sign up for?
We did not have anyone else sign in, but I would like to ask if there are any citizens on the line that would like to speak regarding an item on the agenda. Being none, Chairman, I turn it back over to you.
All right, thank you so much, Clerk Watson. Board of Commissioners, we have a presentation this morning about severe weather operations and briefing, and that briefing will be rendered by our own Director of Government Services, Heath Coward, and Public Works as well. Heath Coward, you have the floor this morning.
Hey, good morning, Madam Chair, Commissioners, fellow directors, Deputy and Assistant County Director. Yeah, I just was asked to come on and give a little summary of what took place and how we get prepared for the storms. DOT started about 1 week out. My DOT maintenance right away started about a week out after looking at the weather coming in, what was predicted to hit and when. Started at that point just kind of going through our maintenance checks, checking all our equipment, getting our dump trucks, making sure everything's running. The salt spreaders in the back of the dump trucks and mounted in there, make sure everything's working correct. And we did identify one spreader that was not working. We're able to fix it in time. So as we went on through that, continued with chainsaws, another item that is used during the storm cleanup a lot, but not too much in between. So make sure they were all prepped and ready to go. And then you got to have support for the DOT crews that are out there. You got to have our maintenance guys. Can't have one without the other. So we're talking with fleet manager and DOT manager, Levon King and Ross Clark. We just kind of looked at when it was coming, watching Jason Milholland's updates, following those daily as he sends them in, trying to get our attack plan on how we're going to be prepared, and we can send people out wherever needed. So after all that, we decided, we need to be on 24-hour operations starting at midnight on the 15th. So we had our guys separated into two 12-hour shifts, and the first shift started at midnight. So they stayed at DOT headquarters or at fleet, mainly there. There's plenty of room. There's generators in case the power was failed until it came back on. So you have everything there to prep them and keep them working. and keep crews running to help citizens if need be. And we were lucky. Nothing that bad. We had a few trees fall and went out there and cleared it out. So all in all, things went well like that. Everybody was prepped and there and not needed, which is the way we would prefer it. We can't wait until the storm hits and then try to go to work. You gotta already be there and ready for it. So they were. Hats off to them. And the landfill as well. We do a lot of prep, any kind of cleanup we do with the county does. Especially in any kind of disasters. We have additional equipment that can be utilized. So we have a big open top container with a skid steer loaded up in the back of that and a driver on call, on standby, ready to respond so we can help. Also, we have people ready to unlock the gate here at the landfill so we can bring in all that debris that usually the storms create. So it's really my whole department. There's three subcategories to the public works, but they all have to work in tandem to make it all work properly. Fleet had some other things. We had some known items like tires and chains and spikes already prepped and set there.
Yeah. Yes.
So
Let me see.
that's pretty much it in a nutshell. Is there anything else you'd like me to cover, Madam Chair?
I think you covered it all. We at the end of just
Well, give me a call after things are.
Mr. Ed Krebs, there you go. You just mic off. Certainly, you wrapped it up in a nutshell that everything went better than expected. I'm so excited about the weather. But what I will do is allow our Deputy County Administrator to have a few words of closure, remarks regarding this weather incident.
Yes,
You have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and good morning to the Board of Commissioners, Madam Chair, to my colleagues. I just wanted to give a word of thanks to Heath and the team Public Works. They were in constant contact with me over the course of the weekend. I saw firsthand how they were able to mobilize and get everything ready. Thankfully, Mother Nature gave us a break this time around. We were ready, and I wanted Heath to just get on and just brief the Board of Commissioners in regards to the weekend, and just let you all know that the Public Works Department was on standby, and as Heath mentioned, we only just had a few trees to go down, which was the best case scenario. But we were definitely prepared for any inclement weather that could have came. So really, we just wanted to give a kudos to Heath and to his team for their gallant effort over that weekend. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you so much, Deputy County Administrator Perry. All right, Board of Commissioners, certainly our weather conditions were better than expected, and hopefully the weather will hold up the remainder of the year. But tomorrow is February the 2nd, so hopefully the groundhog will not see his shadow. So we're going to move on to approval of the minutes. Board of
Madam Chair.
Yes. Vice Chair, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is to staff and to Director Coward. So I get the impact of storms. I get you guys get up there and deal with debris, and we don't have to. I'm not looking for a settlement now. I'm still back to just in general litter. Think about mowing when it cuts up the paper and trash and it's all over the place. Same thing with storms. I'd like to get some type of indication on how we're doing regarding general litter. And I know, I'm sure you have an initiative called beautification, but this is independent of that. We don't have to do this now, but there's still a need to be proactive and not allow lawnmowers and storms to be the vehicle in which we move litter. So can I maybe it's ACA Stuart Stanley? Can you guys talk to me offline regarding that? And I'd like to get a little bit more information because I am hearing comments that we still need to we still have that issue of litter. That's all I need, Madam Chair. We can take it offline. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Vice Chair, for bringing that to the forefront. I researched a program, several things last night regarding litter. It's been probably the most difficult challenge of my administration to handle litter, particularly during this pandemic, where we've lost quite a bit of support. But we are looking at other alternatives, and I've met briefly with our Director of Public Works and our Deputy County Administrator, and we're trying to put our heads together to call a different play. I said if we do the same thing, we certainly would get the same results. And I am in agreement with our citizens that this place needs a bath, and we're going to work on that real soon. So please believe me, I've been up all night researching on how can we take this litter package to the next level. We want to see what we can do to change the game in Douglas County with regard to litter. Thank you, Vice Chair. We're going to move on to the approval of the minutes. Board of Commissioners, you have the commission meeting minutes of January 18th, 2022, the work session minutes of January 13th, 2022, and the executive session minutes of January 13th, 2022. Are there any additions, deletions, or corrections that need to be made, Board of Commissioners?
No, ma'am.
Okay, being none, the minutes stand approved. Board of Commissioners, we have with us this morning tab number 4, which is under proclamations, proclaiming February 12th, 2022 as Frederick Douglass Day in Douglas County. And this proclamation will be read by Dr. Ed Krebs. And I believe he's here now. And he is. Dr. Krebs, you have the floor, and good morning. Clerk, is it any way you can help him unmute or?
The system is showing that he is unmuted.
Hello, Mr. Krebs, how are you doing this morning?
Madam Chair, Dr. Krebs is having technical difficulties.
Okay, well,
I'm not sure that he can hear you.
Okay, will you read it for us this morning, Ms.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am.
You have the floor.
All right. Frederick Douglass Day Proclamation. Whereas Frederick Douglass was a great abolitionist, political visionary, and businessman who helped the freed slave community. And whereas Frederick Douglass was a fugitive from enslavement and fought against Klan rule in the South. And whereas Frederick Douglass stood with suffragettes to expand the right to vote for women. And whereas Frederick Douglass founded newspapers and served as the president of the Freedmen's Savings Bank that helped Black Civil War veterans and the free Black community secure loans and financial resources. And whereas Frederick Douglass extended his influence internationally when he traveled to Ireland and Great Britain to denounce the Irish potato famine that created dire circumstances for the people there. And whereas February 14th, 1817 is Douglass's birthday, and February is Black History Month, the second Saturday in February is ideal for the annual Frederick Douglass Day in this county. Therefore, be it proclaimed that the second Saturday annually in February will be recognized as Frederick Douglass Day in Douglas County. And be it further proclaimed that the Douglas County Board of Commissioners does hereby proclaim February 12th, 2022 as Frederick Douglass Day in Douglas County. So proclaimed this first day of February 2022.
Thank you so much, Ms. Landis Davis. This proclamation is so well deserved, and thank you for taking the time, and you and Mr. Ed Krebs for bringing this proclamation before the Board of Commissioners. Board of Commissioners, you've heard the proclamation proclaiming February 12th, 2022 as Frederick Douglass Day in Douglas County. Do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion, Board?
Yes.
Okay, Commissioner Robinson, Kelly Robinson.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we can't let this go without commenting. This is important, and thank you, Madam Chair, Ingrid Landis Davis, for reading that proclamation. Thank you to my citizen, Ms. Parker, for rendering that. So it can't go without being acknowledged. For the board to officially declare this through resolution. It's important. And this is not a long moment, but when I listen to the resolution, a fugitive from enslavement, I get it. Free man, right? I get it. That's truly Douglas. That's what it means. That's what it means to the First Amendment goes both ways. I mean, that's the point, right? And it's a mindset. And to take this long, 150, I can count how long, right? That where we are, and to be at this place is symbolical. And obviously, on Black History Month as a beginning, I'm humbled by the fact that the board is in a place to prepare to declare this. And so I want to thank the people who did the work. Tracy Rickershaw, I hear you. Well done. Well done. And I appreciate the work that's been done by everybody behind this to officially lift this up, to write history right. You know, we have revisionists that exist. I think this is important to officially declare it once and for all and move on. So with that being said, Madam Chair, that's about 3 minutes. I've gone long enough. I just want to thank everybody for their effort and for the board to step forward and officially make this so be resolved. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Any other remarks, Board of Commissioners? Commissioner Carthen, I see your camera. There you are. You have the floor.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much, Madam Chair. Thank you to Mr. Krebs, to you, Ms. Landis Davis. I know Dr. Robin isn't on here, but she was instrumental in this as well, bringing it before the board. And a special kudos to Tracy Rickershaw and the whole entire team, including you, Ms. Parker, for bringing this before the board, for putting it in the light, for doing all the work behind the scenes so that this day could come to fruition. I know we've talked about this for several years, but to actually see it now come to fruition, I think it's a great time. And we know that Frederick Douglass was an orator. He was a great orator. His words moved people, but it was his light, the light of God in him, that also moved people. As a matter of fact, he was known for being guided by the North Star. He was an astro. He was ahead of his time. So to me, I graduated from Douglass High School in Atlanta. So to me, this is a great symbol, and I'm very humbled to be a part of this Board of Commissioners that will actually proclaim February 12th as Frederick Douglass Day. So again, thank you, and I hope the citizens really understand the importance of lifting up those who came before you and honoring their impact in your lives. Thank you, Madam Chair. I yield.
Thank you so much, Commissioner Carthen. Any other response or remarks, Board of Commissioners? Okay. Like the members of our board, I'm certainly humbled as well. This is certainly a befitting moment, and the day is the first day, February 1st, of Black History Month. So this is done at a perfect time this morning. So thank you. We're honored. And clerk, I apologize. I am not on civic clerk, so you're going to have to take my vote. I will render my vote verbally this morning if it's okay with this board. Okay. Board of Commissioners, we have a motion and a second. We have a motion and a second on the floor. Please prepare to cast your votes. And clerk, my vote is affirmative. Okay.
Chairman, motion carries 5-0.
We have a 5-0 unanimous vote and the motion carries. So thank you and congratulations for this Board of Commissioners proclaiming February 12th, 2022 as Frederick Douglass Day in Douglas County. Thank you again, Ms. Gwen Parker, Ms. Ingrid Landis Davis, and Dr. Krebs for taking the steps and those necessary measures to make this moment go forward. Thank you. We're going to move on to tab number 5, proclaiming the month of February 2022 as Black History Month in Douglas County, and it's my understanding this will be read by our Assistant County Administrator Tiffany Stewart Stanley. You have the floor.
Good morning, Chairman Jones, Board of Commissioners, Deputy County Administrator Perry. I'm here today to read the Black History Month proclamation, and it reads as follows. Whereas during Black History Month, we celebrate the many achievements and contributions made by African Americans to our economic, cultural, scientific, and political development. And whereas in 1915, Dr. Carter G. Woodson, noted Black scholar and son of former slaves, founded the Association for the Study of African American Life and History. And whereas Dr. Woodson initiated Black History Week, February 12, 1926, and for so many years, the second week of February, chosen to coincide with the birthdays of Frederick Douglass and Abraham Lincoln, was celebrated by African Americans in the United States. And whereas in 1976, as part of the National Bicentennial, Black History Week was expanded and became established as Black History Month and is now celebrated in the United States, Canada, Ireland, the Netherlands, and the United Kingdom. And whereas Black History Month celebrates the achievements of African Americans in the arts, civil rights, education, entertainment, government, history, law, literature, medicine, military, music, politics, science, sports, and other endeavors. And whereas Black History Month is a call to each and every citizen to reflect on the cultural, scientific, political, and economic contributions of African Americans, which are deeply embedded throughout our culture and society. Now, therefore, the Douglas County Board of Commissioners do hereby proclaim February 2022 as Black History Month in Douglas County and urge all citizens to celebrate our diverse heritage and to also remember, learn from, and build on the past so that together we can build a better and more prosperous future for all. So proclaimed this first day of February 2022. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Tiffany Stewart Stanley. Board of Commissioners, you have had an opportunity to hear the proclamation proclaiming the month of February 2022 as Black History Month in Douglas County. Do we have a motion to approve?
So moved. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion, board? We have a motion and a second.
No audio. Wait.
Mr.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now, Mr. Krebs.
Can anybody hear me?
Yes, we can, Mr. Krebs, but you need to mute your mic for now. Okay, thank you. We have a motion and a second on the floor. Board of Commissioners, we have a motion and a second. Please prepare to cast your vote. If there are no discussion, I need to ask, is there any discussion? Okay, if not, please prepare to cast your votes. And clerk, I'll text you mine. I'd see where you say I need to text it to you. Okay, thank you.
Motion carries 5-0.
Board of Commissioners, we have a 5-0 unanimous vote and the motion carries. Board of Commissioners, we will go right into our consent agenda and please.
Did they vote?
Mr.
Yes.
Krebs, can you? Rick, is it any way you can mute Mr. Krebs, you and your staff? He probably.
Yes, ma'am. I have IS working on it, and
Okay.
yes.
Madam Chair.
Yes. Vice Chairman Robinson.
Thank you. Point of order before we get to consent agenda, I just want to establish there's a line item before we get there. I want to know that it's acknowledged regarding the Development Authority. I'm not asking this to take it off the consent agenda, but I want it to be acknowledged. Perhaps our legal counsel regarding program management and my condition, my expectation that we will work through this to ensure that there is some type of representation on behalf of the board as an intermediary on things going forward. I know we have other opportunities to sort of make additional decisions, but as you guys know, I'm very clear on what I was looking for. So is the county attorney out there, or Chris, I want somebody to acknowledge what I stated yesterday and that we have an understanding and that we'll work through the details later.
Okay, yes.
Yes, I am here.
You have the floor, Attorney Coleman.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Mhm.
Thank you. I think what we discussed, Mr. Vice Chair, is adding some language to the agreement that would say to the effect that as the project progresses, the authority will consult with the board from time to time regarding the necessity of bringing on the program manager or additional consultants, program manager or similar positions, as well as additional consultants.
Consult the board about the necessity. I just want to clarify, it is a necessity. So
Okay.
just make sure we clarify that, right? No, it is.
Yeah, we can clarify that, and we can make the language consult the board regarding just bringing on additional consultants, such as project manager,
owner, rep, etc. Whatever it is, y'all will work it out. All right, that's fine. Let's not belabor. Chris Pumphrey, are you out there, and do you acknowledge this condition and this expectation?
Yes, sir. I'm here, and yes, I did have that conversation with the Attorney Coleman as well.
You're on board. You good?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Madam Chair, I got what I needed. I yield the floor. Thank you.
In addition to that, Madam Chair, with respect to that particular item, Commissioner Carthen had a couple of thoughts about an additional amendment that she wanted us to consider and add. I don't know, Commissioner Carthen, if you wanted me just to describe them or if you want to speak to them.
Madam Chair, thank you, Attorney Coleman. Madam Chair, I would request that this be moved off consent agenda.
Okay. At this time where we need to take a motion to move it off the agenda.
I make a motion to remove it off the consent agenda to new business.
Okay. We have a motion. Do we have a second? Forward. Second. Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion, board?
Are we voting on this? Yes, please.
Say this. Say that
Madam
again.
Chair.
Say that again.
Thank you for the floor. All right, so what are we doing by taking it off consent? Are we voting on it independently of consent?
Commissioner Carthen, I'm not sure what you wanted independent.
Yes, independent of consent, because we need to iron out some other details. So yes, independent of consent. Let's get those details ironed out, as opposed to doing it the way that Commissioner Robinson just stated, because I also have some issues that I want to make sure that we are handling as well while we're in here.
Yeah, we're going to move it off then and make it a separate item so we could have more discussion, Vice Chair, for just more clarity. So we have a motion and a second to.
Wait, hold on. Let me clarify. No, I didn't put it in consent. I broached the subject so those who are listening can move into it. It's being sensitive. I don't want there to be no misunderstanding of doing this. Right, so I just wanted to clarify, are we voting independently? All right, Madam Chair, I'm good. I just wanted to clarify what the intent was. So I yield back.
Okay. We have a motion and a second to move this item from consent to new business item for the commissioners. So we have a motion and a second. Certainly I need a verbal on this one because it's not on the agenda. When I call you district, please respond accordingly. District 1. District 1.
And this is just to remove it off the consent agenda, correct?
Yes, and put it in a new business item. Yes, sir.
Yes.
District 2.
Yes.
District 3.
Yes.
District 4.
Yes.
Chairman, yes. We have a 5-0 unanimous vote, and the motion carries to move this item to the new business, listed as a new business item. So, clerk, you do have that. So, Board of Commissioners will take this item up separately, and then I'll move into the consent agenda. So, we'll start with this item first, which is, it was originally tab number 7. Am I correct, clerk? I want to make sure. I'm assuming.
Yes, ma'am, it is.
Tab number 7, Board of Commissioners, do we have a motion for approval of the intergovernmental agreement for the Lee Road TAD 1 with the Development Authority of Douglas County and authorize the chairman to sign all related documents subject to final legal review?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? And there we go. Commissioner Carthen.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I did speak with Attorney Coleman prior to the meeting in regards to just a few items that I needed us to address. I know that I addressed them yesterday in regards to vendor selection, but what we did not address was some of the language regarding fees. And so what I would like is for Attorney Coleman, and he and I spoke about this, as to looking at what capping fees for the Development Authority, and putting some language around that. Also putting language around making sure that the Development Authority has to check in with the board before they do vendor selection, just to make sure that we are utilizing our DBE, and making sure there's equity and farming out some of the professional work that has to be done regarding this TAD. So just want to make sure that we're consistent around that. Attorney Coleman, I'll let you chime in from here.
Thank you, Ms. Carthen, Commissioner Carthen, and other members of the board. As I understood your concern, it was that we wanted to have a cap on the fees payable to the Development Authority over the period of time of the TAD, or on a transaction by transaction basis, one or the other, just to make sure that, and we will note that, and I think, that's in addition to the requirement in the agreement that the budget be approved, and the budget will include the fees. I think there's a desire to also add a cap on the fees, and that's something that I have not had a chance to discuss with Mr. Pumphrey, but I think that was the understanding that I gathered. And I thought also that you also wanted to have language added, which would require the use of the compliance with any procurement requirements, consultation with the board regarding the procurement process, and the use of reasonable best efforts to make sure that diverse contractors have an opportunity to participate in the project. I think those are the items that I understood. Is that accurate, Commissioner Carter?
Correct, Attorney Coleman. Those were the items that you and I discussed, and I would just like for this board to consider, and Mr. Pumphrey to consider, in making sure this agreement lines up. With that, Madam Chair, I yield.
Okay, thank you. Any other discussion, board?
Yes.
Okay, Vice Chairman Robinson, you have the floor.
Yeah. I think it's important just for context of the prior exchange regarding consent agendas. Serving as vice chair to ensure that we stay within protocol. And but there are certain topics from time to time when you try to message to the board, say something. I'm sure wrote into consent agenda. There was a de facto, well, you missed a moment. Right? So me being who I am, I can obviously message my point, which was already done, but it was to ensure that everybody's voice was included, which was important. Sometimes we miss moments not being aware. We always check in and out from time to time, but this is a very important topic, and everybody's voice should be included per se. So that just for someone said, well, what was that about? It was just more of a making sure that everybody got in. While there's no right or wrong, it was still important to make sure that people, because there are constraints, there are certain rules. We've learned that regarding consent agenda. So we had a lesson learned last year that we wanted to make sure. So anyway, I had to state that, I'm sure, but my conditions are, as I already stated, regarding program management. I yield the floor. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Any other discussion, board? Okay, we have a motion and a second, board. We have a motion and a second. When I call your districts, please respond accordingly. District 1.
Just one quick comment, Madam Chair. So for clarity, before we pass this vote, are we conditioning this particular motion and or item with what Commissioner Robinson and Commissioner Carthen stated, or
Yes, we
is
are.
this a part of? Okay, so it's all okay. Just want to make sure.
Yes.
Madam Chair.
Commissioner Guider, you have the floor. Thank you, Commissioner. Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's fair to change all the rules of how we do things at a voting meeting. This needs to be discussed. It needs to be vetted. Everybody needs to have an input on it. And I am strictly against Commissioner Carthen's, I guess it's an amendment. We had already discussed what Commissioner Robinson said yesterday. And so I was prepared to vote for this with what he said, because he clarified it yesterday. But to have something thrown at us all of a sudden that's going to affect everything that we do from here on out, I am for diversity, but I don't see it in Douglas County. So I would like to, discuss her amendment before we tie it to this. I think this is time sensitive, from my understanding. So I was not under the impression that we were voting on an amendment other than what was put in yesterday at the work session, which is a proper place to add something like this. So with that, I yield.
Okay. Well, certainly, Commissioner Guider, this is a forum since we are in discussion mode, and perhaps our Commissioner Carthen will be willing to just give you just a little more information to allow you to make a prudent decision. Commissioner Carthen, if you just elaborate, you could for our district board commissioner, so she'll have a clear understanding of what she's voting on.
Yes, Commissioner Guider, your county has a DBE policy under procurement that we follow. And this is I would just like for this to be an extension of that. And if that's okay with Chris, who will be handling this with me, with the entire county who will be handling this for us, then I just wanted to make that a part of the vote. It's just a condition. It doesn't do anything separate from what's on here. It just adds that we make sure that we open up for those professional services. That's all. Just I think my biggest thing was just passing this Black History and Frederick Douglass Day is that exclusion does happen. Now, it may not happen intentionally, but it does happen. And if we're not intentional about allowing for others and making an environment where others feel like that they can participate, then what we'll get is what we've always gotten. So this is not egregious. This is not outside of what Douglas County has done. This is not outside what we do on the SPLOS. This is actually a continuation.
Since you're addressing me, may I ask a question about her comments?
Yes.
Sure. Yeah. Is it, and maybe I need to address Chris. Is this going to delay his process? He's got every vendor that he puts out a contract for or whatever. Most of his is contract. So we've got to run it through the county. We don't think they're qualified to make the decisions themselves, because I'm sure they have a list of contractors that are approved by their board, like we do. So, Chris, can you answer that, please? Is this going to delay your process?
So, and thank you for allowing me to weigh in, Commissioner Guider, into Commissioner Carthen's point. We have a scope of services that are identified in the intergovernmental agreement, and yes, I did have a conversation with the vice chair yesterday, and what we then put together was kind of an outline or a timeline to what that scope of services could look like. And there is a layer, there are a few layers beyond the intergovernmental agreement that get into policies and procedures. And so right now we're just at the intergovernmental agreement stage where we're, agreeing to here's what the scope of services are, but those things still need to be fleshed out. And to that point, I believe that's where, the opportunities exist, where you kind of include the cap on fees, where you include kind of what is the procurement policies, as it relates to this. And then also understand, TAD proceeds really are centered around the reimbursements for the most part of work that the developer performs. And so they're reimbursing those expenses, but in that we can set forth policies, and that comes through the development agreement as well. Policies about, minority participation and what have you throughout that. The other side of that, which may be kind of leaning towards what you're saying, Commissioner Guider, is yes, we do kind of have a set of consultants that we're kind of already working with as it relates to advising us through the process, but not necessarily performing the work that is actually, developing the sites or what have you. So when we don't have that group in place, and that's kind of where the policies and procedures would come into play, I envision, to where we're identifying what that procurement process looks like for that group. Does that answer your question?
On this particular item that's on the agenda today, what has been suggested by Commissioner Carthen, is it going to hinder your timeline or your process at this moment on this one?
Correct. Yeah, it doesn't hinder what we're doing right now, because most of the things that I see as it relates to what Commissioner Carthen is asking for are things that are going to happen over the next several months versus the things that are kind of happening within the next month as it relates to us kind of getting towards a closing. So I think those pieces, and we'll develop those out in the policies and procedures within the TAD that are, approved by the Board of Commissioners.
So if we proceeded with what was on the agenda to begin with the notation or the specification that Commissioner Robinson discussed yesterday, and that is incorporated with, or is maybe not pertinent to this that we're voting on today, but maybe for the future. But I guess it is pertinent to this one, or he wouldn't have made it.
Yeah. It's all pertinent, and it's establishing, on the front end, what the expectations are going forward, and we're in support of that.
Yeah. Well, Commissioner, the Chairman Jones, I would just suggest that we just move forward on this item, and then maybe I think Commissioner Carthen is on the procurement committee, that they can establish future caps or procedures and everything. But I don't think we need to muddle this one up at this time. So I think it's time sensitive too. So I'd like to yield back.
Thank you so much.
Madam Chair,
I
had the floor and I gave it to her. So parliamentary rules.
I'm sorry.
Not a problem. So, Madam Chair, just as Attorney Coleman laid out, he can put language, just add a little language that will address what Commissioner Robinson said and what I said. Is just laying some of the ground rules in there. And then later on, just like Chris Pumphrey said, we'll come back and we'll flesh out everything regarding the policies and all of those things. We just want to make sure that moving into the IGA, that everyone's voice is heard. That's all. And Attorney Coleman laid it out. I yield, Madam Chair.
Okay, thank you. So we're clear, board. Okay.
Yep, you had a motion and a second.
We have a motion and a second on the floor. We have a motion and a second on the floor. Board of Commissioners, when I call you district, please respond accordingly. District 1. District 1.
Yes.
District 2.
Yes.
District 3.
Yes.
District 4.
Yes.
Chairman, yes. We have a 5 unanimous vote and the motion carries. Now, since this over with, I want to just reflect back on the DBE. The DBE is not specifically, I heard the word, you want diversity in the county. That's what fosters diversity, that DBE, because it's not only for the African American population and Hispanics, it's for veterans, it's for women, it's for disabled. So it has a large footprint. So I just want to bring clarity to DBE. That's the best thing that's happened in this county in 150 years, that DBE status. Thank you so much, Commissioner Carthen, for moving my agenda forward when you came into office. That DBE status needs to be in Douglas County, and I'll stand on the wings of that until I leave this office. Board of Commissioners, let's
Madam
move.
Chair?
Yes.
May I?
Yes, you may.
Yeah, just to piggyback, again, not to belabor, because I know the sentence gonna go fast. Right. Last Thursday we had a doing business in Douglas, the 5th annual, and we had 2 major developers as keynotes, and we got into this topic and this moderated conversation about the importance to team and acknowledgement, right, and what it means to grow and enrichment. And this is for the citizens at large, who's obviously small business who are aspiring up, emerging or existing. But to that point, it's acknowledged the importance of this. Herman J. Russell could not have gotten started without this acknowledgement, right? And it's just the acknowledgement to give people opportunity to team up, to be able to bid on things larger, and not have constraints and prohibitions for opportunities and access. So I think the spirit of it is right, and I think that's all we're trying to do in this motion, is just the acknowledgement. That's all I wanted Chris to do, was just acknowledge it. We'll work through the details. But sometimes it's just that it's the mindset. And again, it's just because it's easy, it can get away from you. We have a lot of developers who come in town. So we want what we say, first consideration for local. Please give them first consideration. We didn't mandate it. But I'd like to see how many people that are part of our development that they got incentive, how many actually have met their local consideration for job thresholds. It's the spirit. Right? It's the spirit for local. That ain't had to do with this event. That was local. Right? So this is where I'm coming back to. Okay, now. Like, who's representing the interests of the county as a whole? Which was my point. Right? Not advocating for the developer to get them the incentive and they get in here. And then it's like, okay, did we meet the goals? So it wasn't just about the minorities. It's Douglas, period. That's my spirit. But all the people, all the segments, all of them are represented here. So that's what that was about for me. And it was just having somebody who's going to represent the interests of the county. That's what my condition was. It was all of it. So anyway, I just had to acknowledge that. It was a perfect segue, so I had to give a plug in regarding that, and I think it was appropriate accordingly because of everything that was on the agenda today. Let me try you back. Thank you. Move forward.
Thank you so much. Board of Commissioners, we're going to move right into our consent agenda. Once again, remember, all items are subject to final legal review, and please be mindful that tab number 7 has been removed. So when I read it, I'll omit tab number 7. Board of Commissioners, tab number 6 is, well, first of all, tab number 6 is authorization for the Douglas County Sheriff's Office to accept grant funds in the amount of $15,645 from the Homeland Security Grant Program, Georgia Emergency Management and Homeland Security Agency, GEMA, to be used for the purchase of Recon Robot, Recon Robotics, amend the budget and authorize the chairman to sign all related documents. Tab number 8 is authorization to approve the 2022 Equitable Sharing Agreement and Certification for the District Attorney's Office and authorize the chairman to sign all related documents subject to final legal review. Tab number 9, authorization to approve 2022 Equitable Sharing Agreement and Certification for Douglas County Sheriff's Office and authorize the chairman to sign all related documents. Tab number 10, authorization for the Douglas County Sheriff's Office to renew contract with Correct Health for healthcare services to inmates in the jail at an annual base amount of $2,109,059.42, effective January 1st, 2022 through December 31st, 2022, and authorize the chairman to sign all related documents pending legal review. Tab number 11, authorization to issue on-demand services contract task order number 1 to Wood Environment and Infrastructure Solutions Incorporation in the amount not to exceed $150,000 for geotechnical services pursuant to provisions of solicitation 21-014 for services during construction of the Lee Road Phase 2 widening project P1 number 0004428 to be funded from the 2016 SPLOST funds allocated to the project, and authorize the chairman to sign all related documents subject to final legal review. Tab number 12 is authorization to issue on-demand services contract task order number 1 to Nova Engineering and Environmental LLC in the amount not to exceed $6,000 for geotechnical services pursuant to provisions of solicitation 21-014 for services during construction of the Maxim Road Sidewalk Walk project to be funded from the 2016 SPLOST funds allocated to the project, and authorize the chairman to sign all related documents subject to final legal review. And finally, tab number 13, authorization for the chairman to execute the 2022 annual agreement with Douglas County Travel and Tourism, Inc., subject to final legal review. Board of Commissioners, that concludes our consent agenda. Do we have a motion to approve?
Moved.
Do we have a second? I heard, okay, thank you. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion, Board of Commissioners, on any particular item or tab? Okay, no discussion. We have a motion and a second. Please prepare to cast your votes.
Motion carries 5-0.
Board of Commissioners, we have a 5-0 unanimous vote, and the motion carries. Okay, we move right into our announcements. Board of Commissioners, certainly want to yield to the Board of Commissioners to allow you, if you had any specific announcements that you would like to make on behalf of your offices, this is the time. And then to follow your comments, I will bring up our Director of Communications, Rick Martin. Board of Commissioners, any comments or remarks regarding what's going on in your particular offices? Okay, no remarks.
Yeah, Madam Chair.
Vice Chairman Robertson, you have the floor.
You know, again, one more time, just as a segue to acknowledge everybody's participation in last Thursday's Doing Business in Douglas. To staff, we got it right. Thank you to the Sentinel for acknowledging that in today's paper. It was a great event. And I've gotten a lot of feedback regarding it. And so but we could not have done it without everybody pulling together and making that one moment happen, Madam Chair. So again, to staff, stepping up, you get it. But I had to acknowledge staff, Madam Chair. That's all I want to do. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other remarks for the commissioners regarding your offices? Okay. If no further discussion from the board, communication, you have the floor.
I apologize, Madam Chair.
Okay, hold on 1 minute, Rick. How you doing, Legislative Aide Penniman? You have the floor.
Grand Rising. Yes, ma'am. I wanted to announce that this Saturday will be coffee and conversation at Kuma's Coffee on Veterans Memorial. Forgive me for not having the actual address, but we will have it posted as well outside of Douglas County on the marquise, and it will be posted in emails. But it's this Saturday from 10 to 12. Coffee and conversation with Commissioner Mitchell. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Sherelle Penniman, Legislative Aide for Commissioner Mitchell. All right, if there are no other announcements from this Board of Commissioners, I will yield to you, Rick Martin, our Director of Communications, to provide the remaining announcements.
Good morning, Madam Chair, Board of Commissioners, and staff. In regards to announcements, the 2022 Douglas County Black History Program, celebrating Douglas County's African American culture and community, will air on DCTV 23 and on all of our Douglas County social media platforms on Thursday, February 24th at 7 p.m. For more information, public is invited to email Tabria Cobb at douglascountyga.gov. The Ferry Princess Ball, one of Park and Recreation's most popular events, will be held at Derelict Park, 2105 Mack Road in Douglasville on February 11th, and that is from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. The ball is for ages 12 and under. The cost is $40 per couple. And for more information, contact Tammy Cochran, tcochran@douglascountyga.gov or call 770-920-7129. Basketball camp for boys and girls ages 10 to 15 will be held at the Behringer Waters Activity Center on February 14th through the 16th from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. For more information, the public can call 470-308-4430. That's 470-308-4430. Behringer Waters Activity Center presents All-Star Basketball, All-Star Friday on February 18th at 5:30 p.m. for ages 16 to 21. Cost is $10 per person per event. And open mic night at the Behringer Waters Activity Center is also happening. And for those who do not know, Behringer Waters Activity Center is located at 5000 Highway 92 in Douglasville. Doors are open at 6 p.m. Free admission. This is a family-friendly event. Men's Adult Basketball Legends League starts at the end of the month on February 28th at the Behringer Waters Activity Center. People can register in person, and for more information, the public can call 470-308-4430. Registration deadline is February 21st. And that concludes today's announcements. I yield back to you, Madam Chair.
Thank you so much, Director Martin, and we appreciate those announcements. We have quite a few exciting things going on in Douglas County with regard to our activities, and I just encourage our citizens to just remain engaged. Certainly, before we close out, Board of Commissioners, you know, I have to just announce or just to just reiterate the importance of this pandemic to all our citizens. Again, we are still ongoing in the pandemic, and we still have Omicron and just a tinge of a Delta that's remaining among us, and just ask you to continue to take those precautionary measures with the 3 W's, and to make sure that you are considering your vaccines and also your booster shots. Certainly, I want to extend deep condolences to the families of those who have lost members of their families as relate to this lingering pandemic and the COVID-19 virus. And then also just ask those who are just if you're in the community, make sure that you take those extra precautionary measures to not only protect yourself, but to protect others. Well, Board of Commissioners, if there is nothing else to come before this body today, and do we have anybody? Oh, I'm sorry, there you are. Director Perry, you have the floor right quick before I adjourn this meeting. Yeah.
Madam Chair, I do want to give our new procurement
yes.
a moment to introduce herself. She's going to kill me. She thought she was getting out of it. I want to give her an opportunity to introduce herself to the board, to the Douglas County public. We are so happy to have her. Ms. LaTanya, the floor is yours.
Hi, good morning. I want to first say thank you all for welcoming me to Douglas County. I feel honored, and I can't wait to help serve the Board of Commissioners and the citizens as well. Thank you all. Today is my first day on the job, and I look forward to meeting all of you all in person, answering questions, and helping and facilitating the business of Douglas County.
Thank you so much, Director Emmons. And you are just we're happy that you're here today. The Board of Commissioners probably jump in your arms if we had a chance to see you waiting for this moment. And we know that you're bringing a breadth and wealth of knowledge to the county, particularly as you work for the state. on the agricultural side. So we are just so happy that what you're bringing before us today. And thank you and welcome aboard.
Welcome
and
aboard.
I apologize for my oversight. So welcome aboard.
That's okay. Thank you all so much.
Okay, thank you. And if you need us, please, we are a phone call away, and then we'll be in your office to say hello, and we'll make rounds. But we are just so pleased that you're here. And I know our chairman of the procurement, Commissioner Carthen. I'm gonna catch. She always get me for putting her on the spot. Commissioner Carthen, you are the chairman of the procurement committee. Could you just say a few words to our new purchasing director? I know you're gonna get me.
You do know, but you'll do it anyway. So, Ms. Ammons, again, thank you for joining us. You were talked about this morning on our Parks and Rec Committee meeting. You were brought up several times. So I just want you to know your work is cut out for you. And you probably heard you were brought up on this meeting as well. So your position is very important in carrying out the business of Douglas County. And so again, we thank you for the experience that you're bringing. And again, welcome aboard.
Thank you again. And thank you for the opportunity.
You're welcome. Board of Commissioners, if there's nothing else to come before this body, this meeting is adjourned, and enjoy the rest of your day. Ooh, I didn't see it. Going into recess because we have a planning